Thank you again so much for joining us, Sonya. We have a lot of questions planned for you tonight. But first, would you like to start by introducing yourself?
Yes, thanks for having me, guys. My name is WWE Superstar Sonya Deville. I am the first openly gay female in the WWE, and I use my voice with amazing organizations like Girl Up to speak about inclusion and representation within the WWE.
Nice. Well, we are so happy that you could join us today to talk about health and wellness. So, are you ready to dive into some questions?
I'm ready. Let's go, girls.
Let's get it. So, let's jump right in. The first question for you. Well, exercising to take care of our physical health is hopefully part of our daily routines. Meditation or mindfulness exercises for our mental health don't always have the same priority. So, why is it essential for all of us to engage in daily self-care and make that a part of our lifestyles?
It's so important. I love this question. So being a professional performer and an athlete, and I've been an athlete my entire life since I was like 5 years old. One of the key things that has helped me get through the rigorous schedule, the traveling, the training that sometimes can get really difficult and monotonous, is my meditation and my mental health in general. And the way that I attempt to balance out those two things is I really try to have, like, at some point of every hectic day, I try to have like a quiet moment where I play my meditation music. I just go on YouTube and I type in meditation and I literally just play the music and I try to just be like present in that moment. And I do affirmations. I do what I'm grateful for, what I have coming up in the day, what I've already accomplished. And I try to just kind of take everything in and just slow everything down a little bit, and really appreciate and be grateful for where I am in that moment. Because if our mind is right at the end of the day, we could be the best athlete, the best performer, the best at whatever we do, but we cannot function to our highest of abilities without our mind being right. Everything at the end of the day is mental. So if we're not taking that second to find gratitude and find peace in what we're doing and appreciate ourselves, because I think a lot of the time, especially in today's society where social media and media is so prevalent in our lives, we are our own worst critics, right? We judge ourselves, we compare ourselves. We're constantly trying to live up to what we see on our phone screens, on our TV screens. And so I think being mindful and being present and appreciative of who we are is so important. And one of my favorite quotes, I've said it before, is be you because everybody else is already taken. And I love that quote because it's like, once you realize that we are all different for a reason and that without diversity, this planet would be bizarre, you really start to respect and appreciate who you are because you're like, wait a second, why am I trying to be like her? I was meant to be me because I'm going to serve this purpose. She's going to serve that purpose. And then we're all going to come together and make the world go round. So that's just something that I live my life by. I went years without practicing that mindfulness when I was younger. But since I've incorporated it, I've seen my growth in what I do just excel.
Yeah, I know it's so easy to ignore that mental health aspect about ourselves. And I know that I'm definitely going to start listening to meditation music and practice gratitude from now on. So thank you so much for that. So next question for you. Since taking care of our mental health is definitely an ongoing journey, how do you practice self-compassion and self-love throughout both the ups and the downs?
I would say the way that I practice I like how you said self-compassion. And to me, that means like empathizing with ourselves, right? Being understanding of our flaws and our mistakes because we're all human and human error is a real thing. And so I have a journal and I feel like that falls under that category, because I really just try, while taking accountability for my actions, I also try to be very forgiving of myself because we are all human. And I feel like, again, that awareness of what I'm doing by writing down certain things, like I'll write down goals. I'll have like near sight goals, long-term goals. I'll also write down things that I'm grateful for. And I usually journal probably like once a week. It's kind of how I'm very type A, so I'm very organized. And that's kind of what's helped me with the scheduling in WWE. But I like to organize my thoughts as well as everything else in my life. So I like to journal once a week. I can really talk about and think about what I've done, what I'm proud of, things that I want to change, but I try not to self-judge. I try to just reflect and make changes. My mindset is like, okay, this happened. Now how can we fix it? Right? Not so much anymore like, why did I do that? Or how could I do that? Or I could have done better. It's more like, okay, that happened. It happens to all of us. Now, what can we do to make ourselves better and better people in general? So journaling really helps me.
Yeah. So with all of that, not judging ourselves, but also trying to plan ahead, a lot of this past year has showered every one of us with unforeseen challenges. So
Yes.
what advice would you give to those who maybe lost that sense of routine and want to begin again, but just don't know how?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's tough for everybody. When we're thrown out of our routines, people lost their jobs, people were put in situations they're not used to. Staying home for a year plus, not interacting, not socializing can be really hard on our mental. And I know that it was really tough for me as well. I was blessed to still be able to work, but our working circumstances changed like many others. I think that is when discipline kind of overrules routine and circumstance, right? And it's trying to have that mental discipline so that you, no matter what, can evolve and adapt to your circumstances. Obviously easier said than done, but I think it's really important to have that mental discipline to know that, okay, I can't get up and go to work today, but what can I get up and do? Can you plan for your future? Can you strategize for the future? Can you adapt and react and maybe go into a job field that doesn't require leaving the house? Can I do something online to make money? E-commerce? Can I get into something that's currently thriving and evolving in this market? Something that's good for my mental health that will keep me active and motivated. Also, using that time to transfer some of that energy to our relationships and getting closer with our family, spending more time with the people that we love. Happiness and contentment looks different for everybody, but it's figuring out what works for you and what's good for you.
That is such a good point about how everyone's like self-care looks different. And it seems like you have a lot of great tips that I'll definitely be taking home. So if you're comfortable, could you please share a bit about your mental health journey and what are a few of the simple first steps you took when you began prioritizing your mental health?
Yeah. So I've always been the type, I overthink things, right? Like a lot of us, I overanalyze things. And so I'm quick to react and think people are judging me. And this is something I've struggled with since I was a kid. But being thrown in so many difficult social situations, being in the public eye now, and being with such a big organization where I kind of am spotlighted and everything I do is kind of scrutinized to a certain extent. I've really learned what matters and what doesn't, right? And I've learned that a lot of the times when people are acting a certain way towards you, it means that they just might be struggling with their own demons and their own things inside their head. And I think being understanding of people and the less you judge yourself, the less you're going to judge other people. And that's a lesson that I learned. I found myself being so hard on me that I had those same expectations of everyone around me. And it wasn't fair because I was now putting limitations on them. And it was because of myself though. So I had to reflect inward and say, okay, why am I being like that? Why do I feel that way? And so I started to let go of the judgment on me and be more accepting and loving towards myself. And the outward reflection was enormous. And I started to realize that how we talk to ourselves is how we're going to talk to other people. And how we love ourselves is how we're going to accept love. So I think it's really, really important to fully love and accept yourself before you can really give your whole self to anybody else.
That's an amazing point you bring out about how your internal world often reflects your external world, and taking that first steps is often the most challenging part. As the stigma of mental health decreases and more people are openly discussing their personal mental health journeys, have you built a support system to whom you feel comfortable reaching out for help?
Absolutely. And this is another thing that I've struggled with in the past is self-isolation, right? It's like we feel bad about ourselves or something bad happens in our lives, and some of us isolate and we shut out the world, and we're like, well, my situation is a mess right now. Why would I bring anybody else into it? You know what I mean? And that was kind of my thought process. And that's changed a lot too. And I've learned that people want to help, right? And if you're loving and caring towards other people and you're helping them emotionally, physically, mentally, then it's okay to let them help you as well. So it's okay to give and receive. And that's something that I've been working on ongoing the past couple years.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And on the flip side, do you ever feel the need to compartmentalize and distance yourself from everything for your mental health when it sometimes becomes maybe too overwhelming? And how do you go about taking this time without feeling guilty about doing so?
Absolutely. My alone time is my sanity. It's my home is my sanctuary. And there are days where I get my workout done. As long as I know I got my workout done and I got my emails sent for the day, I'm totally cool with bumming it on the couch and not answering text messages. And I don't feel guilty for that anymore. Maybe it's because I'm older now, but it's completely okay to detach and just do you, whatever that means for you. For me, it's sitting on my couch, mindless activity, watching one of my favorite TV shows or a good movie, and just not thinking about all the struggles and the drama of my life for a couple hours. And without that little regroup at midweek, I don't think I would perform to the best of my ability, every day. I really don't. I really need that. It's like a detox for me, just to be alone and have my solitude for a little bit. So don't ever be afraid to just turn off and tell the people that love you, hey, I need this time for me.
I absolutely love that advice. I think I really needed that advice right now. I just love the idea of get up, work out, chill on the couch, and to not feel bad about it. I think that's definitely needed to hear. And so with all of that, each of us, has something that different that resonates with us. But what's the most important thing you should remember when prioritizing your mental health?
I would say really come up with a list, and you don't have to actually write it out, but know in your mind, prioritize what matters to you and what you need to be happy as a human being. And if anything doesn't fit in that list, get rid of it. Whether it's people that don't fully love and support who you are and don't make you feel validated, or sometimes family isn't always blood, right? We meet people in our lives that are meant to be family forever, but they didn't give birth to us. And so don't judge who it is that you love and want in your life. Just let it come and let those that leave go. And same thing with activities or jobs or hobbies. I think the most successful people in the world are people that find something that pulls at their heartstrings and they figure out a way to monetize that. And that's how you find true happiness. I personally wouldn't do anything just for the paycheck. I do it because I love doing it and I love going to work every day and it doesn't feel like work. And it's okay if it takes time to get to that point. But when you get to that point, make sure the things that are in your life are your choosing. Don't do anything for anybody else. Really prioritize yourself and your mental health, because then you can be an amazing support system for other people once you're at that healthy level.
Yeah, I know these are messages that I definitely needed to hear. And I know a lot of people can resonate with this and take anything that you said home and benefit their own lives. So Sonya, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story again. And I know that I learned so much from this discussion with both of you. So are you looking forward to learning more about mental health and well-being? Girl Up will be launching its own mental health curriculum in 2022. Download the Girl Up community app to join our waitlist and learn more.
And now for a short commercial break from our partner.